welcome to a brand new series on Conflict of Nation. We've joined ID 1972406, 1972406, and there are a couple of spots open, so if you'd like to join this game, please feel free to join. And I joined as Algeria, so if you wanted to be an ally, you could join Congo or Egypt, and we could be in the same province and ally up together. But let's jump into it. So the first thing you want to notice is that I've got everything set towards Tunis or Tunisia, and I think that's going to be an easy one for us to take. I've never played Algeria, but they're really strong in tanks moving south and basic infantry. So we got a lot of mountains up in the north, which makes it extremely tough to take. Even if somebody comes in through one of the ports up top, like they still have a hard time moving through there, as we have a hard time moving as well. So I wanted to move everything out of the mountains, get Tunisia, and then move towards Libya, because I could make this border right here. It would be a long border to defend, but once we got out through this side and conquered all this area, we'd have the extra fuel we needed. We got 2 fuel already, but we'd have some extra fuel to build some stuff, and then we could come back and grab Morocco, and then start going through the coast down through here in Mali, and of course Ghana and Chad right here, which is pretty wide open, and into Nigeria. But you get what I'm saying. Like you want to shorten your border as much as possible in the beginning. So you don't really want to extend yourself wide. You want to pick your allies. And I noticed that the AI, like if you attack them once, they might cease fire with you, but they're just going to turn around and attack you anyway. So when you're ready to go through a country, just take the entire country. Don't mess around with it. So you can see in the top left here, these army bases are being built. And I would say for early game strategy, like here's what I would recommend. When you go into your builds, you always want to have army bases. You can get your basic infantry out. That's just one that you should have in every town. And then you're going to want to build an airbase and work on your arms industry. So if you look at this, like we are building a level 1 airbase, and that means that you can airlift units in and out of those towns and get help to places that need help on there. So extremely important. And then of course arms industry. This one promotes up here to the components. And so you can see we have 13,177 in stock. We are making 4,485 per day, but our units are consuming 380. The cities are consuming 680 for a total of 1060. So I'm not going to produce 4485 a day. I'm only going to get like about 3485 a day. Basic math, right? So that's the whole point of the game. Is if you want a bigger army, you have to take cities. And if you want to build in cities, you have to take ones with supplies that you need. And so right off the bat, we're going to go for the two really highly used ones, right, which are components. And I'll probably will come back from Morocco once we get down through here. I don't want to fight Egypt, and it's probably going to be a player anyway. It's computer controlled right now, so if you look in your diplomacy menu, you can look and see like India is computer controlled, Brazil, Iran, Canada, Argentina, and these are all the players that have come in, right? So Russia, China, U.S., Indonesia, Australia, Poland. Actually, Poland is in my alliance, so I have to join the same game. I don't know if he's answered in the tab. Yeah, he hasn't answered in the alliance tab yet. But we've been extremely active as an alliance, and we are the #1 ranked alliance in the game. And so if anybody would like to challenge us, please. But for the sake of early game, like that's what I would recommend. And so if you click on the town and go into your builds here, you have these quick tabs left and right, and those are really helpful. So let's say if I was done with Algiers, I got 22 hours until I build the airbase. Let's go to the next town. Constantine. Okay, so I have an airbase going here. It'll be done in 11 hours, and then I have queued up an arms industry, which is what you could buy 30-day subscriptions, 60, 90, probably. I don't know. I could look at it and tell you, but if you really like the game, it's really helpful because you can queue builds. And then in 11 hours, if I don't happen to be at my computer, which would be 7:30 at night my time, I might be having dinner or watching TV or doing whatever. This building will slide over, and you'll be in the currently constructing without you having to be there. So it does help, and it gives a huge advantage over somebody who's not part of this right here, the Security Council. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool little perk to have that. It's worth it just for the building. Let's put it that way. The other stuff is not as important, but to have the building queue is extremely important. So if I look at the map now, you can see how they have these blue arrows and everything's kind of like lit up, and you can see when I highlight stuff, like get on a unit, it tells where it's going. All right, so this is very important on the map. See, if all goes planned, I will have the entire place backed up into their capital by the end of the day, basically. So then if I look at Tunisia, this is going to be worth 5 victory points, and that would go up here. I'd have 86. If I take this province, Siliena, then that would be worth a victory point, and I'd have 87. So you can see how taking over, like, the cities are worth way more than taking over the provinces, but the provinces are much easier to take over. And so, like, if I was to hit a missile on Tunis and destroy some buildings and take the population down, this would go from a 5 to like a 4 or 3 or even a 2 or a 1 if you nuke it, right? You would just destroy a lot of stuff. Then this would only be worth 1 victory point. And then I would have to go back and rebuild it to gain the 5 that I would get from taking it without bombing it with, bombarding with ships and planes and all kinds of stuff. So you want to send like some strike fighters in. They have this radar that goes up. It'll tell you like what units are around here, and then this will actually attack it. So I'm hoping to level up these units before everybody gets anti-aircraft going, and then you're stuck like trying to kill those before your plane can get in. So there's a lot of variables for the game. So let me show you also so you get kind of the cities, and then I can say, let me highlight this guy. Okay, that's going to arrive at 3:37 my time. So I could say, okay, well, on this unit here, let me delay this and go down here and move the bar. I don't want it to get there before the ground troops, so let's get it there at 340. Let's slide it back. There we go. Set delay. Now that's going to wait for an hour and 16 minutes before it moves. It's very, very handy, because then this are going to move in together. This guy's going to go all the way. Let's set him to go. Ooh, I don't want him to embark all the way. I'd rather, because there's a mountain right here, this mountain area. So it's easier to go up and come through the ports to get there. But I don't want to attack other people's ports to get in either. You know what I'm saying? So, and so it looks like there's 2 units here in Tunisia, and so we're gonna see, like, once we get closer, it's arriving in 2 minutes. We're gonna actually be able to tell what this unit is, and it's gonna start attacking it automatically. So, but see, I could set all these units here. If I go, oh, this guy's not gonna make it till 10 p.m. I don't know if I want to use that guy. Or this guy is not going to make it until, 7 p.m. Like, why is that? And part of the reason is because there's no airfields built in here. So once the airfields get built in, I can move from here to here in like an hour. That's the advantage of having the airfields built. So I think it's absolutely necessary to come into these towns and build an army base and an airport, and then you just start working on your supplies and your economic stuff. If you want to raise the population, you would build a military hospital, underground bunkers. That's one quick way to get some population boost in your territory. So you can see, since we've started, that Tunisia has they already want to have a diplomacy change, basically. So if you look in this menu in your diplomacy, and I go to Tunisia, he knows he's in trouble. It's one of the smaller countries. So war, they go back and forth between war and ceasefire. Then you also have your news, and it kind of tells you what's going on around the world. You can see who's fighting, and so I welcomed everybody into the game here. Matt Waters 7 took command of Japan. Chadwick is in China. These are all both after I joined here at 1424. So you got some new people coming in. Japan's a fun one to play. I've played that in other games. So you kind of get the sense of like what an early game day 1 would look like. If you look like in your research, there's I've already got basic infantry research, and then day 2 this opens up. You definitely want to put your units that you have a lot of, you want to research them and make them stronger, right? And you want to kind of look towards what you want to do in the game overall. So let's say that, for instance, you wanted tanks, which I do because they're strong from Tunisia. From Algeria has strong tanks in their doctrine. So you definitely want to research the tanks and get them all the way up to survival rank, basically, in the T-14 Armada, which takes a while. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you can't even research it until day 26 to get the final one, but that's fine. Like, these games go 60, 80, 90 days. They're depending on who's playing them. And then, of course, I went for the Strike Fighter because they're very strong pre-AA guns. And even if they have AA guns, if you're flying 3 or 4 of them in a pack together, you can usually take them out. So okay, so our strike fighter's closer now, and it's 1 second away. So you saw that flash and attack, and it moved that one unit down 4 health points from 11 or from 15 to 11. So it's going to fly back and refuel, and then come back and patrol and shoot it again, and then it would go from 11 to like 7, and then so on. By then, we'll start to have some of these ground units rolling in, but this unit will be gone, and then we'll look towards what that is. That might be some sort of a naval vessel. But we're going to keep the strike fighter over the city patrolling, so that if they put out another infantry unit, we're just going to go ahead and attack it again. And we didn't lose anything on that run, which is great, because these units, they don't really fight back. Now, if this ship gets involved and starts shooting, even if it is a ship, sometimes when you zoom in and out, the dot goes about further. That ship might actually be going out to sea, but usually people keep them around these waters, see where they're light blue. That's where they heal. Ships can regenerate HP in there, and they can also park and bombard like towns and stuff, which make them extremely deadly. So that's about it for this episode, man. I wanted to show you an early game setup, day 1, and then be able to dialogue a little bit in the comments section. So if you have any questions about the game, like, I don't know everything, but I do have some guys in our alliance that are moderators and stuff, and so we can always get them to ask the devs and get us some more answers. So anyway, hope you're having a great day. Conflict of Nations, day 1, Algeria. Very exciting. And I'll talk to you guys later. Holla!